In 1941, Nazi Germany controlled nearly all of continental Europe. From the Atlantic coast to the far reaches of Ukraine, Hitler's armies stood dominant. Only Britain and its Commonwealth allies still resisted, but Hitler's eyes were already fixed further east on the Soviet Union. He wanted no diversions. Yet war rarely follows the plans of one man, and distractions were coming. What began as a side conflict would soon erupt into one of the great battlegrounds of World War II, North Africa. Italy had entered the war the year before under Benito Mussolini, eager to bask in Hitler's victories. But while Germany surged ahead, Italy's campaigns stumbled. Italian forces made some initial progress in East Africa and even pushed into Egypt, but their advance quickly stalled. The deserts of North Africa, with their brutal heat and endless supply challenges, were unforgiving. Unlike the British in Egypt, who enjoyed railroads and short supply lines, the Italians faced enormous logistical nightmares. Meanwhile, Mussolini made a reckless gamble, invading Greece in October 1940. Italian generals knew their army wasn't ready for such a campaign until at least 1943. Within days, the Greek forces counterattacked, driving the Italians back into Albania. Hitler was furious, especially since he had offered German assistance that Mussolini arrogantly rejected. Back in North Africa, disaster soon followed. On December 9, 1940, the British launched Operation Compass. In just days, Italian defenses collapsed. Thousands of troops surrendered, and the British captured huge amounts of weapons, vehicles, and supplies while taking minimal losses themselves. Italy's outdated equipment stood no chance against Britain's heavily armored Matilda II tanks. For Italian gunners, firing at the Matilda was like trying to pierce an elephant's hide with a pea shooter. Italy's failures extended to the sea as well. On November 11, 1940, at the Battle of Taranto, British biplanes torpedoed the Italian fleet, crippling much of it in a single night. For the Royal Navy, the Mediterranean was suddenly far less dangerous. By early 1941, Mussolini's forces were collapsing across multiple fronts. Hitler could no longer ignore it. On January 11th, he issued Directive Number 22, authorizing German intervention in the Mediterranean. If Italy fell, the consequences for Germany would be disastrous. British forces freed up to fight elsewhere, the loss of a key ally, and the possibility of a new anti-German government in Rome, so Hitler ordered reinforcements to North Africa. This mission became known as Operation Sunflower. By then, British victories had snowballed. They captured Bardia, Tobruk, and tens of thousands of Italian soldiers. Italian codes had been cracked by British cryptographers, giving the Allies a huge advantage. But Germany was now preparing to enter the theater. Luftwaffe squadrons were deployed to Sicily and southern Italy to bomb Malta, the key British stronghold in the Mediterranean. From there, British aircraft had already wreaked havoc on Italian shipping, and if Malta wasn't suppressed, German reinforcements could never safely cross to Africa. The German Expeditionary Force was built around Panzer Regiment 5, about 150 tanks, supported by anti-tank guns, engineers, and reconnaissance units. Roughly 9,000 German troops were sent, forming what became the 5th Light Division. More reinforcements, including the 21st Panzer Division, were planned for later. Importantly, the Germans brought their fearsome 88mm guns, which could rip through even the heavily armored Matildas. Now the question was, who would lead this new force? Initially, Hans von Funk was considered, but Hitler disliked him. Instead, the job went to Erwin Rommel. Known for his daring leadership during the invasion of France, Rommel had earned the nickname the Ghost Division Commander for his lightning-fast maneuvers. Summoned from leave in February 1941, Rommel accepted his new mission, North Africa. Meanwhile, the Italians were being destroyed. By February 7, 1941, Operation Compass had ended in a total Italian catastrophe. Nearly 150,000 soldiers were lost, along with hundreds of tanks, thousands of vehicles, and more than 1,000 aircraft. The entire Italian 10th Army was gone, but just as Italy's collapse was completed, German reinforcements set sail from Naples. On February 8, 1941, the first German troops began their journey across the Mediterranean. Behind them was Rommel, already preparing to write his name into history. The stage was now set. Would the Italians follow German leadership or try to maintain independence? Would the British, fresh from victory, overextend themselves by also sending troops to Greece? And how soon could the Axis regroup and launch a counteroffensive in the desert? The answers would come soon enough, as the arrival of German forces transformed North Africa into one of World War II's fiercest arenas.